All right, hey, welcome to the podcast for today, right? My name is Rumesh, and I know you are a business entrepreneur, Hassan Dawud.
I mean, not that big, but okay, whatever. Yeah,
Okay, so I want you to tell me a bit more about yourself. Like, how did you get into this industry? Because
yeah.
entrepreneurship is something that scares a lot of people.
hmm
So, what actually led you to actually leading you to actually go into this podcast?
hmm Okay. By the way, the first thing I want to say to the audience, I'm not that big right now, but inshallah, in the next 3 years, it's gonna be around 100,000 a month, or your boy is gonna be on Forbes 30 and a 30. Okay. Okay. Just for the record. Now, let's get back to the conversation. The way the journey started, ninth grade, the kid wants to make a lot of money. That was me. So I looked at what are the ways I can make a lot of money online, right? Because I don't have all the capital, venture capitalist, anything backing me up. So I went online, Googled how can I make a lot of money. There was drop shipping, probably you heard of it, like Shopify, and then there was Amazon FBA. There was digital marketing, social media marketing agencies, affiliate marketing, and I kind of went through all of them. First, you see, that's another thing. Like when you're first starting out, you think you know what you're gonna do, but you don't. So most of the times, whatever you think that was gonna be your main thing, like most time it's not that thing. I started off with I started off with drop shipping. I bought courses over that, tried doing it. You know, maybe if I had stuck long enough, this is another mistake a lot of us make. The first 2 months it didn't work out. You didn't get any sale. You think, oh, it's not gonna work out. So I hopped out to another opportunity. I look at affiliate marketing. I would look at these gurus with the new Lambo making 400,000 a month, and I was like, yo, this might be a thing. So I hopped on affiliate marketing, tried it for like 2 months, and didn't get the results as I was looking for. And then I bought another course and I was like, oh, this thing might be it. Social media marketing agency and stuff. At that point, I was inspired by this guy, Tristan Larson. He was making around $30,000 at that month at that point. I was like, yo, if I can make 30K a month, that would be great, right? So, ironically, that's just out of like that's like God's miracle or whatever. He was looking for interns at the same time when I got my interest into SMMA, and I had taken a course from Kevin Davey at that time, so I had I learned some skills about how to run paid ads, and he was looking for interns to hire in his company. He said, "I'm looking for interns for 2 months. If you're interested, send me a DM, and then in return, I'll teach you how to run a company. I'll tell you how to get clients, all this stuff. But you got to work for free for 4 months, I believe." So I signed the contract, worked with him for 4 months, and it was during COVID when he was serving restaurants. All of the restaurants, like I believe 60% of restaurants closed contracts with him, right? And at that point, even he didn't know what to do. But then that's another way of like great entrepreneurs. You gotta adjust in those times. So then he switched his company to online ordering, helping restaurants get on online orders, and then he exited that company with 26 million. Another funny thing that happened when I was working with him, I had a friend, right? He made a mistake while he was sending cold DMs to other clients, and instead of saying every day, he said every day, and he sent it like 100,000 people. Tristan found out. He yelled at him in the group, and I was like looking at it, bro. That's just too much. And then he fired him, and then I was like, yo, if you're gonna fire him, I'm leaving too. And I made that an excuse to leave the company, even though he did offered me to, like equity and all that. But my vision from day one was always gonna start my own company. I was just with him to learn. So got my experience from him, started my own company. The first 6 months, I thought I had some really great model, but it sucked. I reiterated like 4 times, built presentations like 100 slides, failed, 100 slides, failed, 100 slides, failed. And now this is the fourth time, I came with like this virtual restaurant model and like this advertising, and with the offer that seems to not suck as much. Right now, businesses when they look at it, they're like, oh, might be something interesting. Yeah.
So I see, so you really went from being a kid like me who doesn't have anything to to a person who actually does marketings and everything like that for restaurants. So I think like the one thing that you really mentioned and that stood out to me is like how even though you fell back every single time, you always never felt like you never like stood in that level, and you always bounced back and got to the next step. For example, like you said that you did drop shipping. That's something that every kid does here.
Right.
Like let's be honest, kids at my school they do it. Kids I know are they're in high school, college, they do it. They're like all the easy money and everything like that. The Instagram reels and everything like that, such like that.
Right.
And then the same thing with affiliate marketing, SMMA, and everything like that. But obviously, you said you tried everything, and the best part that I think like mainly for that I literally liked is how you said you actually went on a free internship and worked with the person's
Yeah, Tristan Larson.
Tristan
He
Larson.
was making 130,000 a month at that time, and now he sold it for 26 million right now.
So you see, like that's like pretty big. One thing that a lot of people when they start off businesses and everything like that, they really think is oh, I need to start making money right now. Like right now, I need to make 100K right now,
Yeah.
2,000K. Like that's not happening.
Right.
Like the way you went about it is like, oh, you actually got the experience from someone for free, and then after that you developed your own skills, and then you went on ahead. That's
Right.
something that's like not many think about, and that's like something that you actually proved that actually works.
Right. Yeah, bro. Even the first client I ever had, it took me like 8 months to close her. This is another great tip, by the way. Whatever you know, just post a lot of content on whatever platform your client's gonna be on. So if you know your niche is mostly on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, just post hell lot of content. And so this is another good strategy. So go into Facebook or LinkedIn, look at all of the clients that niche that you're gonna serve to, add them as friends. And now when you added them as friend, now you're posting content which you know is relatable to them, and they look at you as authority, as the expert in that niche, and then they reach out to you. That's how I got my first client. And yeah, so that's another great tip. You just got, and I offered to work for free. With my first client, I said, yo, I'll work for you for free, because at that time I only had knowledge and no actual case studies, expertise. So, and then another thing you want to do is when you hop on a sales call or with a client, if you don't have actual case studies to show, you cannot ask them for money. It's like there's something inside you. You have doubts. Yo, what if I'm not able to fulfill the promise I'm saying? But if you have a lot of proof, look, I've done it for free, and no one is gonna let you use their business. They use they use their whole life to build a business, and they're gonna give it to some random kid. No. So, and like you're charging them money, you gotta make them believe, hey, and be transparent with them. Look, I have a lot of I got a lot of knowledge, expertise. I think I can help you. I won't be charging you anything. And that's what I did with my first two clients. I worked with them for free. And once you started, getting them results, and you start to onboard other people, like, I have like two other clients, very hopeful that in a week we'll be closing like $10,000 deals. But them, I won't be giving them free service because I already done it.
That really makes sense a lot, because I think like when you're starting off, as you said, you don't have any experience. You really want to gain that experience and insight into the stuff that you want. For example, let's say like I was watching this reel from Ali Abdel. He was like, if I were to start a business today in 2023, the first thing that I will do is first gain my experience through like actually giving out free promotions, whether it be Ali Abdel or like Alex Hormozy or anyone who you actually look up to in the media industry. They really like the first thing that they actually suggest is like go work for free, go get that experience, and then after that boost yourself, and then from there on, some of the good perks of actually doing it free is you just get referrals.
Right.
Like for example, let's say I sell you something right for free. Let's say like I sell you a good membership, a gym membership. This is like example from Alex Hormozy, and then you're like, oh, this guy's so good, right? And then after that, you go recommend to another couple of people, and then after that, they recommend a couple of people. So like, having a lot of, like, even though you're losing a lot of money, you're leveraging one person to get many more clients.
True. And then you can always use them as your case studies in your presentation to close
Yeah.
even more clients. So it's always a win-win situation. And another thing is, Alex was saying is, 52% of high school students, they think they're gonna be
They think they're gonna
millionaire
be millionaires.
before 25. Like is and it's not that and 52% of don't become millionaire. It's just that 52% are never gonna become millionaires. Time I was looking at it's real and I said age is not the problem. It's just their mindset is so screwed. They never just gonna become millionaires. Even at 82, they won't be millionaires. The thing is, they want to do both things. They want to earn first without learning, and when you go for earn, you just never learn, and then you never make money. So I'd say go for learning first for like 6 months or even 3 months. Like if you actually put in the work, you should be good.
I think that's really great. Like I remember a lot of people giving me advice when I started, saying that you really need to get the money, the money, the money, the money, the money. Like I can't like emphasize how much I heard the word money being told on to me, saying that you need the money, you don't like everything else does not matter and everything like that. But I think like one story from Atomic Habits is where James Clear he explains saying that a couple of kids were playing soccer in this old man's yard, but then so he wanted to like get rid of them, right? In a sense, like it's because they were playing in his front yard and like he didn't like that.
Mm.
So for the first couple of times, what he did was he actually paid them. He was like, "Come here," and then he gave them the money for playing, right? Thank you for playing in my front yard and everything like that. But then, so the kids kept on playing, and then every time that they finished playing after that 2-3 days, they kept on coming back to him for money, right? So he gave it to them a couple of more times, but then at the end, where like at the end meaning like after a couple of days, where they came back and the old man was like, "Oh no, I don't have money to give you guys." So what happens is the kids are so used to getting that reward, or in this case it was money, from the old man for playing soccer. But if you take the money, the reward out of the equation, then the kids don't want to play soccer anymore.
Mm.
So he got rid of the kids from playing in his front yard. Yes, he lost money, but he got a permanent solution.
Yeah.
I think like
Another
this
thing,
yeah.
another thing I would say is like everything you do. It's not just business, bro. That's just like personally everything in general life, bro. Everything you do, like you gotta ask yourself why I'm doing it. I had one of my favorite businessmen, the guy who actually inspired me to do everything, Saigon Yalchin, right? He has this famous saying, "Then what?" Right? Why I'm doing everything, like literally, why even we're recording this podcast? Like there has to be some goal behind, motivation behind why I'm literally doing everything. And he says, ask yourself, then what? Okay, I need to make a lot of money. Then what? So I can get a nice car. Then what? I can get a Lambo. Then what? I can get a nicer house. Then what? Then what? If you go down this road, he says it's either someone you created or something you created, some impact that you leave on people's lives. Everything else, it just goes. So it's always like, ask, why am I even doing whatever I'm doing? Some people are extremely ambitious. Like, there are some people who would rather be dead than working for 9 to 5. It's just they cannot take it. Like, they cannot comprehend themselves working 9 to 5. And there's some people, they just love doing it. They just love the casual life. For them, that's a perfect life.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I think like to explain more on it is like I think like even major books like when like Rich Dad and Poor Dad, or any book that you read, or any book or any person's experience, they're like, why should I do this? Why should I do that? Like especially like I think like when Google came out, they were like, oh, the reason why we are creating this company is not because of money, but we're gonna actually like give up products and everything like that, help people's life better. So like it's always at the end of the day, it's not about money, but it's about the experience. And then there's
Trust me, when it starts, it's always about the
it's
money.
always about the money.
It's always about, but then after a point, it's like, well, why, right? Like billionaires, they don't need the money, but this like Tony Robbins, he doesn't need the money, but he still does it. So there's some sort of self-fulfillment that comes after a stage. Yeah, but in the beginning, it's always about the money, guys. Always.
I think like sometimes at the beginning, yes, it's all about the money, but if you go even deeper in a, like it's like an onion, right? The top layer is like shiny and it's like sometimes the onion is a bit raw, so then it's dirty and everything like that. But as you take it off, right, the more you go inside in it, the more the surface gets more smoother and like it's more clean. So at the beginning, it's like, oh, this is what I need, this is what I want. But at a deeper level, this is not really what you want. It's like, why did you do this? Why did you start it? Like, there's a lot of like non-profit organizations that start off. For example, like the ones that I have been part of, right? That I have been closely working with. The way they look at everything, the way their perspective works, is we need to provide for the community. We need to provide for these kids. These kids, they are doing some stuff. We don't want them to be there. We don't want them to do that. We want them to be in a certain place, in a certain specific area, and living a better life. Like even like the federal grants and everything like that people that government gives out, it's for a reason because they want their citizens to do better. Like shelter houses or anything of such, they're all for doing something better for them. It's not something like I want to do this or I want to do that. So like I think like you could add on more onto this too, like thinking about it.
Yeah, I think we already talked about this topic enough. Now let's switch to another topic, which is attention. Like, I think I heard it from someone. The last era was the era of the Rockefellers, the oil industry.
Yeah.
This era is the era of attention. Whoever has the hold or attention of people, they won. And who is the king of attention in this era? Mr. Beast. That
like,
dude was offered $1 billion. He declined that offer.
I think it was it was right. But
Right.
then he said in a podcast that he said that he calculated his net worth and that it was not definitely not 2 billion. It was like a lot more than
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Like,
He's definitely over like 20 billion, easy. Because he has what else? He has Feastables.
Feastables,
Right,
the burgers.
He has the burger thing as well, and then he has his merch,
channels.
and he has like more than 10. I was looking. He has way more channels than most people even know. So he was
Yeah.
over like 20 billion.
Like he has the Instagram income, the TikTok incomes.
Right.
And the fact, right? The funny part is, he actually came out and he said in one of his main podcasts, like the podcast that I listened to, is like, he was like, I don't care what you guys do, but if you guys want to make money, take my videos, cut it into clips, and post it on TikTok and get money off of it.
Right.
He literally said that.
I mean,
but if you
yeah.
think about it, how many people are realistically going to do that? He knows that not a lot of people are going to do that money hack.
Mr. Beast is such a goat. Like, he gives everything for free, like value. In terms of value, he doesn't care. He doesn't hold anything back. He even tell you how you can use his content to monetize and make money.
Exactly.
And some people do it, and then he says, I mean, there's a reason why he lets them do it. It gives him free publicity.
Free publicity and for them a free way to get up.
Yeah, and another thing what I love about Mr. Beast, it's like it's like a thing. If you can be successful in one area of life, you can pretty much be successful. If you're a very committed person in gym, you have the traits to become a successful entrepreneur, because both require discipline. The fact that Mr. Beast, the traits that he had, if you're a very successful YouTuber, you can be a very successful businessman. His ability to never give up, and he would take his phone, hey, 3 years from now, and then he would make a video. I would have 50,000 subscribers. I would be very disappointed if I know. It's just there's a lot of inspiration to be taken. And then all the good stuff he does, he built like 100 wells in Africa, powered the whole village, cured thousands of people diseases. But yeah,
that's just the base level surface that we actually see. To be honest with you, like there's definitely like 100,000 more that he doesn't even want to publicize. Like
yeah.
Like definitely there's a lot. I think like one more fact is how like attention spans, right? Like you said, I think Gary V, can't pronounce his name properly, but he was telling me about how he was talking about how Gen Z, right? Like specifically us, we're just lazy because we know that we could make content like so accessible to make content and post it on the internet and gain so much money and wealth that it's a joke for us, so that we know like it's just handed to us.
Right.
So we're lazy to do it. And the people who actually step up and actually do it, they gain so much. And they actually like, they're the ones who are like with the Lamborghini and everything like that. They're like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. But then the other guy on the right side, he's like, oh, I'm crying. He's crying about it because oh, this guy's showing off and everything.
Right.
Like if you really think about it, some guys are like, oh, crying, saying that oh, this is not good. Like like some people are getting rich over them and then stuff.
Me
And then,
personally, bro, I would say Instagram is not a good place to be at. Like that's personal. Okay, there's two ways to look at it. As a consumer or a publisher, it is the best opportunity. As a publisher, you post your content. It's like where else do you get paid to post content, right? Nothing else. You're advertising yourself. So in terms of publisher, it's the best content, but do not go to Instagram to consume content. It's gonna make you depressed. Like you look at all of your friends' stories, you look at everyone literally. You're in your first month of struggle, hustle, and the guy over there, he already made it. He's posting pictures with his Lambos, all the girls and stuff, and you look at it, damn, I'm still not there. And because that builds urgency, and then you take stupid action in your business, which you should not have taken in this time, and then that screws you over. And it also destroys your patience that is required to get good. You got to cook in this process. So in terms of consumer, I would say do not look at, and another thing that happens on Instagram is there's so many stupid quotes. People look at them, everyone who has whatever experience they have, they just take their phone and say something. Hey, let's say, for example, someone had a heart broken with a girl, right? He would go, love is fake, do not trust any girl, and then he would post it. Everyone, they would get like thousands of likes who also got their heart broken. Do not trust a girl or this or that. So you see, do not go to Instagram for advice. Go to Instagram as a publisher. So this is another great tip to keep in
so I
mind.
think like another thing that I really want to add on to that is like Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
right? He's like one of the top paid athletes out there.
Right.
The funny part is in the my first 100 million podcast. So he was talking about how there's a lot of people that were hating Conor McGregor for being so rich, flexing his Rolex, like driving these cars and everything like that. But in a news interview, right, they asked Conor McGregor if he's taking it to the next level and like showing off his money and everything like that. He was like, the answer, right? So such a wonderful answer. What he said was that for me wearing this is like, it's not for me to be proud or anything like that. It's so that other people can get inspiration from me. Yes, there are going to be people who are hating and crying and thinking of me poorly, but I don't care. I'm wearing it for the people who want to take inspiration from me because that's what I did from when I was
another thing is Muhammad Ali. He tries to act like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, he said he's the greatest. He said it the greatest so many times. And there's another thing. When you say one thing so many times, you start believing it. Even if it's a lie, that's what news channels do all the time. They repeat one thing so many times, it seems like it's true, right? Or even if you don't believe it to be true, you would not have problem with being it as a lie. That's some sort of psychology as well.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali said it to himself, I'm the greatest, and then he proved it by backing it up with all the training. And there was the genius behind Muhammad Ali's statement too. He said the reason why he said I'm the greatest, so people can come and see him get beat up. So like this, all the show would be booked, all the tickets would be booked, and the producers also love Muhammad Ali because of that. So
I think that really like him being this person, he was definitely like a person who was looked up to by many. Like you could agree to like him being so religious, like this person who's so strong and willing to do whatever he wants. I think he built an identity for himself. Like he just didn't believe that he is the strongest, but he actually built an identity around him, a mentality, a mindset, discipline that says I am the greatest.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing, like same ideology that's mentioned in Atomic Habits, like where anyone can set a goal, but a loser and a winner can set a goal, but the winner sets it, but also like takes small steps towards it, and helps build an identity to it.
Mhm.
So that identity thing is like definitely a lot. Like not a lot of people look into it, but that's something that is really
Yeah,
beneficial.
you gotta look up like who you are, and another big factor we're still talking about Muhammad Ali, and I want to add it to it. The faith he had. I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever you are, you have faith, and you cannot do anything in life if you do not have faith. That like it's literally impossible. That like that's how the universe was built. Okay, let's talk about entrepreneurship. You start your business, everything is going well, boom, rock bottom. How are you gonna get, there's no way, there's no hope, but you gotta have some sort of faith. Like you gotta be fine people calling you crazy, but for saying, yo, I know it's looking really bad, but somehow someday it's gonna work out. And it's just so easy for someone who's already religious, especially we're Muslims. We already believe in the higher power. We believe that's Allah, right? So we should already be ahead of most of these entrepreneurs by just having faith. Like look at our prophet, bro. You cannot talk about there's no discussion should be discussed without the mention of the greatest person ever lived. Like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
So
he was the he was the most successful. Like I don't care if you're religious or not. If you want to be a successful person, you gotta read his life.
I think
Like the
that's
traits that are required. And this is another mistake we make. We read over his life and we just look at, oh yeah, at age 6 his mother passed. I mean he was already born orphan, and then his uncle died and grandpa died and all that. His wife also died. We look at all these things, we say, yeah, that's a big, but we don't realize what does that do to the person. You realize the character that's being built, like someone losing his mother, the amount of things he had to go through. For example, you know how we say we get matured every time we lose someone and then we
lose
make
someone in
comeback?
struggle.
How many times he lost and how strong he would have been? We don't get that aspect. Like what mindset the Prophet operates at.
Like I think like you said, the Prophet
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
peace be upon him. He's like one of the best idols out there. Like I like the one favorite story that he always mentioned how a couple of historians came together and mentioned how
Yeah.
he was the best man or the best
Most
example,
influential person to ever
most
live.
influential person to ever live. I think like yes, there's gonna be a lot of arguments over that. Like not a lot of people would agree on it, but one thing I really understand is like even if you're not like if you even if you don't believe in him, even if you don't believe in anything, one thing that a lot of people do is they actually read about his life. Like even with Buddha, right?
Yeah.
I know like a lot of entrepreneurs that I hear and like through social media or podcasts or anything, they always mention something about Buddha
And
or like
stoicism, yes,
stoicism,
Yeah.
or like anything based off Jesus or anyone like that. They always mention something of their lives. It goes deeper to the fact that the faith, and having like the superior power looking at you, and like you looking like you trusting in that
Yeah.
superior power, which is Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. In this case, it's like something that just like it's a motion that pushes you forward.
Yeah, it just gives you the guts to take action. Like, you know, the first battle of Badr, there's 313, and on the other side there's 1,000, and they're way more equipped. They were so sure that they were gonna win. They even had women dancing. They had drums beating. Oh, we're just gonna go conquer them, and then we'll be back, right? At that situation, what gave him the strength? No, most of us, if we were in that situation, we would be
Where
just
we are
won't be able to take the
313
pressure.
people, yeah.
It's just too much pressure to handle. You imagine what's gonna happen? It's not just us dying and then they're gonna take over the women and the children and all that stuff, right? The amount of pressure he had to take, what allowed him to take it was the Quran, the God, right? So the higher power. You cannot do something great, even if you're atheist, without some sort of faith.
I mean, yeah.
You would call it the universe, you would call it yourself, you would call something, but the best thing would be to call on someone, you know, who actually is a higher power.
Okay, so like you said, the faith is like something that, regardless of who you are, even atheists, they believe in some power, superior power. The funny part is like I was at my friend. We were talking about religion in class,
Yeah.
right? He was showing me the spaghetti meatball god thing. Like I was like,
Yeah.
What is that?" But if you really think about it, regardless of where it is or how it is, everyone has a concept of this higher power that really looks at them, and like the faith the faith is something that drives everyone, because without faith and without consistent discipline, you cannot build anything. Whether it be going to the gym, whether it be building a business, whether it be doing a successful career.
Yeah.
Because if you don't consistently learn and actually progress through your degrees, let's say from bachelor's to master's to PhD, and being consistently learning new stuff to actually provide for your company and everything such, you're not going to be able to do it. And even if you, when you
Yeah.
hit rock bottom, like I remember when I don't know about like being like a sad story, but I know that a lot of times when I have been like helpless, you know, I always like said like, oh, like I would bounce back and like I would come back, and then like there's like Allah to help me out. So like that kind of gives you a boost in the manner where like it's like, oh, there's someone to actually fall and trust for you, and like me not having like a proper friendship with anyone, like that really helped me a lot. Knowing that Allah, God is there to help you and you could fall on Him when
Yeah.
you need Him, like that's something that really is really precious.
Right. Yeah.
It's like something that you don't get when you without faith.
Yeah. Going back to the story, about the atheism, I had the same friend. I think we were sitting, it was 10th grade, we were web development class. This was the guy, his name is also Hassan. I looked at him, he was very confused. He actually genuinely wanted to know the truth. He was supposedly a Muslim born, right? But he was between atheism and Islam. One day I was sitting, he came up to me, Dawud, look at this. And he had a YouTube video. It was a point for atheism, how the man goes, he dies, and then he goes up and sees there is no God, right? And everything was a made up religion thing. They made up this religion to control the masses and all that. I just kept looking at him and looking at him. And I watched the whole video. I'm like, you're done? Yeah, I'm done. And then I gave him the copy of the Quran. Just read it. I have nothing to say. Whatever you said, I have nothing to say. Just read it. And then, alhamdulillah, like 6 months after, he was a practicing religious Muslim. So much so, even on his Instagram bio, he had, proud Muslim and all that. And I had another encounter where this guy was Christian, right? I really wanted him to become Muslim. So I would just, go listen to Zakir Naik. I was like, yo, why Christianity is not the right religion, this, that. I didn't realize the more I would say those things, the more I pushed him away from the religion. So at that point, I realized it's your character. It's the character of the Prophet that people were inclined toward. It's not, Islam didn't spread by the sword. People run away from it. So that's another, enlightening. Going back, always going back to the Prophet, bro. When God said, I have chosen for you a role model, and He said, Uswa Hasana as Prophet Muhammad Sallam.
Yes.
Like if there is any mention of success, let's just always go back to Him. The more we go back, the more we'll go ahead. Like literally.
I think like definitely because once you like mentioned about like, can I go back?
Going back to, we can get so many even great stories from his life as well. Another point, it's always happened, the great men, it's always a woman who reach out to them.
Yeah.
Like, they see value in you, right? And here, unfortunately, the other way around. Like, you go at school, you go at Brook, every guy is trying to get the attention of the girl, sitting there, wearing the nicest clothes, and just acting like the coolest guy. And then and it looks so like cringe and stuff, like, and the girls know it too, they're trying to get attention. But if you're actually a valuable person, like the Prophet, what happened at the time of Musa alayhi salam? Musa alayhi salam was sitting next to the tree, and then two girls started walking, hey, our father really likes you and wants to hire you, and then the girl liked him. Same thing happened with our Prophet, peace be upon him, Khadija Rizalana. She saw the value in Prophet. He's known for being trustworthy, honest, and then the way he conducts his business, and she went for him. So I say, even for relationships, guys, if you want the best girl, don't try for it. Just do your thing and do it right with having God in your mind. The best one will come for you. Trust me.
I think like character is biggest part of it, like because having character really shows off. If you read like how to win friends and influence people, like every single principle that's there, I was like, when I started reading it, I'm like, okay, I already know the skip, because like at the end of the day, it was already mentioned or shown to me by the Prophet's example.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people are going to disagree about this, but whether, like, this one thing that really stood out to me is like how you need to smile in order to make a good impression on people.
Right.
And not a lot of people know this, but it's a sunnat, as in like the practice of the Prophet, peace be upon him,
Peace be upon him.
to actually smile, and it's something that's recommended. And
This is the
recommended,
hardest
yeah,
thing, by the way.
like recommended
Like,
by every
you know, it
Muslim,
sounds so simple to just smile, but this is the hardest thing. I dare the person who's watching this, put yourself to a challenge. For the next 7 days, I will smile no matter what the condition is. When I'm with my friends, when I'm with my family, my parents, my whatever, in school, I'm gonna smile, right? Have a smiling face all throughout the week. You won't be able to do it. That's my challenge to you.
I think that's definitely true, because like having like a straight face, and also like another thing is like control your anger. Controlling
Right,
your
anger is such
like
a big
such
issue, bro,
thing.
these days.
Like the first session, I think first session, yeah, we'll call it first session, first chapter, first section of the book. He's like, don't get angry.
Right. And we get angry over so many small things. Me personally, I don't know about others. It's just, yeah, you gotta work on that thing. You cannot.
Anger
yeah.
is like definitely not that, because if you are angry and if you go barging at other people, that just shows that you have a lot of insecurities and everything.
Right.
And if you don't go barging in, like if you really like look at like Steve Jobs' criticism and everything, right? He gets a lot of criticism when he started his career and he launched iPhone and everything like that. He got a lot of criticism, but whenever he got those criticism on stage, like live stages, what he did was he took a pause, he thought about it, and he actually acknowledged that the guy might be right, and then he went on it. He wasn't like, oh, no, this is wrong, I'm right. He didn't get angry, he didn't barge at him. So I think that's like a main character that every single one, even though like I know that not a lot of us may be used to it, but I think like a big character in faith or anything is like controlling yourself and letting the other person finish their speech and letting the other person do what he wants to say, do, and then you're like, obviously if it's like a big thing that's like pretty big and like bad, obviously try to stop it. You know, like let's say someone's like about to suicide, obviously stop them. But if it's like, let's say like a debate, definitely let that person finish and then bounce off of his point.
There's a quote which says, whoever is able to make you angry, he has control over you. He can manipulate you. And there's a saying of the Prophet as well. When you're angry, the Satan, he's just taking you like a donkey and he can just move you around wherever he wants.
Like
that's why when people are angry, they say stuff. I never meant to say it, but now it's already came out of your mouth.
No, you're just done.
The damage is done. The glass is broken. It can now be undone now.
Yeah, words are like arrows because they just go through your heart, the person's heart. You don't know how deep it goes.
Right. So,
like people say that actions speak louder than words, but there's a lot of stuff. I would say like there's a surprise element where like words go deep, actions they can be forgotten, but words, trust me, they cannot be forgotten. And
people can forgive you, but they won't forget even whatever you said.
But regardless of that, it's like even if you forget or forgive, like always be sincere with your forgiveness. That's something also like people are like, oh, I forgive you. All right, just go ahead, just do something. That's not like, because it doesn't show that you're sincere. It kind of affects the other person even more. You're not like actually agreeing with them. Like you're not helping them in any manner by saying that, oh, like I forgive you. In a way, like, oh, I forgive you. Just go. Like,
all right, man.
It doesn't help.
I forgive you sincerely. Now let's move on to the next.
No, I'm saying like,
friendship. How important the role of friendship is. There's a quote, right? The people you hang out with, the 5 people, and I'll show you your future.
I think like for me, right, personally, I think like I could relate to a lot about friendships, because as you know, I have not been with a lot of people. So like starting off, I never had friends until like recently, I would say. So like the fact that after like joining in the Young Muslims organization, knowing to play soccer with a lot of people, getting into these community groups and everything like that, that's really has helped me.
Hmm.
Like, I have never had people invite me to a birthday party
Damn, that's
or
sad,
anything
bro.
like
Next
that.
time I'll invite you to my birthday party.
I'm like saying like until like recently where I've been invited to a lot of things, and I, regardless of what happens, even if I have a busy schedule, I'll drop it and go, because I know the value of having a friend. So
Right.
that having a friend is something that's really important, and that not a lot of people appreciate it.
Right. This is another thing in the business niche, or it's like especially on Instagram, everyone has that Thomas Shelby cold-hearted. They just want to act cool and have ego, and even with these business people like Alex, he would say, "Yo, if you want to go ahead, you gotta cut off with everyone who's with you right now, or else they will try to pull you back to their position."
Nah.
No, that's you see, that's coming from someone. That's how he lived his life. But if you are that guy, like if you're actually the guy, you would bring the people with you up.
Okay, so going back to the topic of friendship, like obviously as I've been saying, like I never had friends before. So like right now I'm like, oh, I have friends now and everything like that. But like, what's your experience with friendship? Like, how would you explain it? Because
By friendship,
I know
yeah.
like since like middle school, elementary school, you definitely had friends. I know like so
Well, no, friends, it gotta be the most beautiful thing on planet Earth. Like, I think this is what I believe. If you need to be happy, you only need two things: a best friend, a wife. That's it. You don't need a lot of money to be happy. But obviously, if you have big dreams, big goals, then you gotta go for them. In Pakistan, right? This is so different. I want you to understand. In Pakistan, the friendship, the metrics, the way people treat friendship is way different than it is here. Like it's considered my uncle, his name was Uzair as well. He died because not because of his friend, it's because he loved his friend so much. So they were on a trip, they went to an ocean for swimming, right? And his friend started drowning, right? And he didn't know, his friend didn't know how to swim, and my uncle, he
he
didn't
didn't
know
know
how
how
to
to.
swim too. But just seeing his friend struggling, dying, he jumped into the water thinking that he could save him. Unfortunately, both of them, died. We call them martyrs. We don't call them died. But yeah, so that's friendship. Like you put them before yourself. Here, like one of the things I really struggle finding in America is people don't have that as much.
Yeah, like that true friendship concept.
Yeah.
Like I could relate a lot with it. Like I don't know about you, but like having that one person that you could rely on, go to them, tell them everything, and like trust them a lot. Like first 15 years of my life, I never had until like now. So that's like really important to me. Like not a lot of people like appreciate value. Like a good example would be in the morning, right? I we I don't want to say this in a way that exposes a lot of people because I'm keeping it in a low. But imagine you being in a room, right? Everyone gets a certain amount of uh money handed to them. So this person over here, everyone's like asked, "Oh, do you like do you appreciate the money? Not appreciate. Are you satisfied with the money that you got?" Right? And the person who gave the money out, he's like, oh, he goes to the first person he asked him. He's like, yes. And then he goes to the other person, he's yes. And then the third person, right? He's like, no, because he had the lowest amount of money in the place, right?
Mm.
And then the person who gave the money is like, okay, so do you want me to reduce more of the money that you got, right? And then he was like, then well, like he was like he made sure, are you satisfied with your money again? And then he was like no. So then he went back, right? He took the money from him, and then he went back, and he was like he was about to take the money out, and then he was like, the person who he took it from, he was like no no no, don't give it back, give it back, give it back, right?
Mm.
And then after that, after giving back the money to him, he was like, yeah, you guys are not grateful at all. So that really hit deep. I was like, yeah, I see what you're doing with this, because like it's like you have to be grateful with what you have. You can't always expect anything
Mm.
like you can't look at the person above you and expect, oh, this person has lot more than me.
Yeah,
You
another
have
thing
to
is, yeah.
look at the person who's at the bottom of you. Like,
If you, okay, let's do it on the spot. Would you rather take $5,000 right now, or I give $10,000 to your best friend? Condition, he can't give you money. What would you do? Would you take 5K for yourself, or would you let me give 10,000 to your best friend?
I'll let you give 10,000, my friend.
Right?
The reason why is because if he's my best friend, I know that he'll give me his money.
Okay, yeah.
Like
Even though you,
even if he doesn't give me money directly, I know that he if I need him, he will be there to help me out.
Hmm,
So having that friendship and that trust in my friend, having that friendship trust, I'll give it to him.
mhm. I think another thing is in terms of friendship and people, sometimes they say people betray you, people do this, that. I think personally for us, I mean, that's just my life philosophy. I think that's thinking too small. Like me personally, I don't care. Like anyone who's around me, anyone who has ever met, they like me, they don't like me, they hate me, they love me. I think like it's too small to thinking someone, can betray you. Bro, we live in private Jamaica. Like you're not a world leader. You're not like somebody up there. I'm not somebody up there. So I really have no expectations in that sense. So I feel like having this sort of mindset really helps you. Just bring down the expectations, not expect too much from people. Like even me personally, I have hard times. You should go out to your friends. I mean, if he's that guy, but me personally, I just take it to myself. Like I don't want to test them and then find out they're not able to fulfill the thing that I said, and then I say, "Oh, bro, what happened to the friendship? This that." That's just me
I
personally.
think like some things that definitely like I was reading a quote in the morning. I even posted it on my Instagram, saying that some of the things that really bring out a person's character, you don't know this person until you have traveled with them. Money is involved. They're angry, or there's one more factor, but I forgot. But the fact that unless you don't know them until money is involved is crazy because I know families who have torn apart because of
Yeah,
money. I
money.
know families who have torn apart because of like, oh, this guy took like 1 acre of land. Like, you just give it out to the other person? Like, if you go back to the time of Prophet, right? Prophet peace be upon him, when he went from Mecca to Medina, and then he was talking to the people of Medina to share their land, their wealth, and everything with the people of Mecca, the refugees. The generosity that these people from Medina had is so much. Like you cannot comprehend
Mhm.
how generous they were with these people that they didn't even know. Forget family, they didn't even know these
Yeah,
people.
the strangers become brothers.
Exactly. Like when you look at these families, like they're fighting over land that your brothers and sisters and you're fighting over land. But like it's like something that is it's not even easy to comprehend, to be
You
honest.
ever thought about it? I mean, this is a question that's like on top of my mind for a couple of days. Like actually being able to understand what is the reality of life. Like, just ask yourself. Think about it. Like, why is there everything that exists? What is my purpose? I know a lot of people who are Muslims, they will say, yeah, the point is we worship Allah, this, that. But you don't understand that.
You don't
If you
understand it.
if you if you really understood what you just said, you wouldn't be on your Instagram, or you wouldn't be wasting time, or you wouldn't be doing a lot of those things. The fact that we just don't understand, like we know it, like worship Allah, but we don't understand it yet. What are the processes we can take? I ask God, what is the process I can take to understand what is the reality of life?
I think like sorry to interrupt, but I think like in order to really understand the perspective of your religion, my teacher, right? He is we had we kind of went off topic during the lesson on that day, but he had a nice thing to say that he was like, if you were to actually pay attention to your religion, and follow what your religion says, step by step, point by point, without no interrupt, like without like actually incorporating any other external ideas or anything like that, and you're sincerely following it, your life will be 10 times better.
Yeah.
And this guy is not like Muslim, he's not like Hindu, Jewish, or anything like that. But the point that he made is so sincere and so true that it's like something that you cannot deny. And he also made another good point. Is like, do you really think that you know how every religion, right? Let's take for example like Muslims hating Jews or Jews hating Christianity, Christianity hating Islam, or all these religions hating each other. He said, if these people's messengers, right? So let's say for example like Jesus, Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him, or Buddha or everyone, if they were to have a dinner, right, or a lunch or something, do you really think that they're going to point out each other's differences and argue over it?
Right.
Or are they going to look at their equality
Yeah.
and their similarities and prosper on it?
Yeah, man.
That hit
That's
deep.
a beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was gonna talk about. Um, should we just call it a day?
Okay,
I think.
so yeah, thank you for joining us on this podcast. Hassan Dawud here. Hopefully you have hopefully you join us for the next podcast.
My pleasure,
And
brother.
thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us.